Bonnie Silbaugh, why does Jefferson matter to you?
Ooh, starting off with a goodie. It is where I invest so many things. I invest my time. I invest my energy. It matters because it's where I choose to be. And it matters because there's so many people who are here that don't seem like maybe they don't want to be here, and I don't get it. And so I'll defend it a little bit too defensively sometimes, but it matters to me because it's where I want to be. And I want others to want to be here too. So let's make the best of it. We got one life. Let's do this the way we should.
Today's episode is brought to you by Interpretations Music Studio by Sheila Pound, located here in downtown Jefferson. Stop in for early rhythm building and theory performance. This is a great place for piano lessons, vocal coaching, and more. Learn more on their Facebook page at Interpretations Music Studio. Thanks to Sheila Pound for being our very first podcast sponsor. If you want to do so, reach out and we will find a spot for you in a future podcast. Okay, so I am Matt Wietrich, Executive Director of Jefferson Matters Main Street. Welcome back to another episode of Behind What Matters, official podcast of Jefferson Matters Main Street. And today we have the honor of welcoming Bonnie Silbaugh, aka Bonnie Fudge, as we've mentioned in previous episodes.
Yeah.
All right. So you have been in this community a long time.
A long time. I turned 40 this year, not ashamed to say it. And I've been here most of my life, moved away a little bit after high school, and then kind of came right back and dove right into it. So, yeah.
Perfect. So that leads right into, did you ever imagine being a small business owner? And then when was it you got into being a Fudge's owner? And
Yep. So, no, not really a small business owner. I mean, all of us as we're growing up, we have the babysitters club, and we make the bracelets and we do all those things, but that was as far as I thought that would go. So when I moved back, I worked at the elementary school for a short time. I had a lot of part-time jobs that made up a good full-time job. And then I worked at an insurance office for 10 years, built a lot of customer service skills, and then just realized that there wasn't really much for creativity. You're kind of bound within the laws of what that is. And so just went into Fudge's Flowers, which is where my first job was at 16. So that's where I worked in high school and a little bit in college as well. So I went in there and just asked, have you thought about retiring? And little did I know she had been and had been looking for a little bit over a year to try to find a good fit. And so honestly, I think over a drink in the evening within the next year, we owned the flower shop. So it just kind of all organically worked out very well and very seamless. A lot of the people that were customers and are still customers didn't even really know that it switched hands other than some of the local media and stuff. So it went very well. I'm very lucky.
That's awesome. So in part of our conversation today, ask you a few Fudge's specific questions and Bonnie specific questions, but I know you'll be able to answer in some sort of general terms too, because a lot of the business owners here in town and elsewhere. And so I'm really excited to hear that perspective from a business owner. And I know you'll be able to kind of talk a lot of general. So, but I do want to know, what year was it ish when do you remember what year you became the official owner?
Yeah, it was 2017. So we're like on our 10th year right now, and we'll celebrate our official 10th anniversary next January. But Fudge's has been around since 1939, 41 or so, depending on who you ask. And it's had 5 business owners that have all taken it to retirement. So that is my plan as well. So if all keeps going the way that it is, I think I'll be able to get that goal. But yeah, I'm definitely here today to talk more about other business owners and our promotions team and some of the other different avenues of what it looks like owning a business, and some of the different aspects of what maybe goes into that people don't always think about, or they do think about, but they don't know how important it is.
Sure. I think we have to address the name Fudge's and that you're not a fudge shop, but tell us a little bit about how the name Fudge's Flowers and Gifts.
Yeah, sure. So the original owner, that was their last name, Gladys and Joe. And then their son, Charles, who is 92 or 3 now, actually came by to visit a few years ago. So it was nice to get to meet him and make that connection. And it just makes it more important and special. And since that visit, now we make sure to decorate the headstone of the original Fudges, and you'll see that on our Facebook page too, but trying to show homage to what was important and what got us all rolling. Our building has been numerous things. It started as an alleyway. It was an afterthought. So our building, if you look next door, is actually the newest one. They just blocked in an alleyway and built two walls on the north and south end. So we have been a clothing store. We've been where people used to come to the back and trade baseball cards. Like we've had where we now have floral things. They used to have ties and socks when people would, dress like that. So some of the history in the building is pretty cool too.
That's fun.
Yeah,
very cool.
Very fun.
I've really enjoyed getting to know these buildings and hearing stories like that. And we'd like to start a series of that too.
Every building has a story. That'd be a fun series.
All the different things it's been, and then hearing people come reminisce. And I learned a couple of our downtown buildings hosted boxing matches in the basements at one point in time.
We do that sometimes. That's just Wednesday. It's fine.
Nice.
It happens.
Nice to duke it out.
Yeah. No,
awesome.
just kidding. That only happens every so often.
right after like Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
and
there
right
you go.
After those
right
big
before,
holidays.
if we're being honest.
Yeah, true.
It's fun.
Right on. All right, so hitting on some of those big times is different. Those big times of the year, the holidays and things. But what does more of a typical day look like for you as a business owner?
Yeah, so usually you kind of start the day with who do you have for the day, because we do have some staff there. I'm lucky enough to have a little bit of freedom and have staff. So what does everybody for employees need? And depending on who is there and what happens, it kind of decides what I'm doing for the day. So some days you're a designer. Most days I'm not a designer. Most days I'm a delivery driver or a supply orderer or a kind of try to do financial stuff, but usually I hire that out because I am not a financial advisor. So, but I can pay for bills and I can do some things. So try to do what I need to do. Marketing director seems to be that is the thing I probably love doing the most, is trying to market what we're doing and when we're doing it. So typical day, not so much. Ordering flowers, we order them when we need them. So there's no set day or set time. That seems to be a big question. Do we deliver? Yes, of course we deliver, but it's the number one question we get asked. So always address that. But yeah, typical day, not so much. But as long as you show up, there is something to do. Every day right now we're watering flowers because it's 95 degrees. So it just depends on the day.
All right. Well, I hope you noticed I did wear this shirt
Birds
with you
of
in
Paradise.
mind today.
Yes, I did.
You do carry Birds of Paradise from time to time.
We do.
Yeah.
Palm leaves, all the leaves. Yeah.
So these are flowers getting cut from being raised in some sort of tropical environment of a greenhouse, I assume.
Correct.
So tell us. I'm prompting this because of an earlier discussion before we were rolling today, but tell us a little bit about this is kind of a fun off story to hear. What are some of the challenges of bringing in products like that you guys have to do that people maybe don't realize to get flowers to look nice?
Sure. Sometimes you have to nurse flowers along. So if they don't really want to be in Iowa, what can you do to help them? So for example, lilies, they don't open. We don't have the humidity. So sometimes you have to leave them out. Maybe make a little tent with some heat and some moisture to them to get them to pry open. Birds of Paradise, you have to give them maybe a warm bath, something like that to get them to prop open. Give them a gentle guide with your hand. So we do not really grow most of our flowers. They come from professional growers and then we cut and design with them, or the plants that we get in, we take care of until they find their next home. So ours is a pretty short turnaround for how long something is in our store, which is different than a greenhouse or some other places that take more time to care for the things that they have. So we focus on variety and consistently turning over different things. So getting in Birds of Paradise, getting in things that people don't think you can always get in. Peonies, tulips in December. It's like, how does that work? Well, because they're not grown in Iowa. That's how that works. So
you have a really interesting match of the artistry of it, but also science.
Exactly. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, there's some science in that.
Yeah.
So it's like Fudge's Flowers, but it's also like Fudge's Flowers Day Spa. You're providing like day spa services to those things. Don't
test my knowledge. We have had a few of us go through like when the Iowa Florist Association had a thing in Iowa. Now they're the Midwest. We did go through a lot of the testing. So some of the science I used to know, it's like when you study for a test, but then if you don't use it every day, you kind of lose it. I could talk turgidity and I could talk all these things that I kind of remember what they are, but we won't get into that and bore the people of YouTube.
We won't, but it's a good example that there's inevitably more to any trade than most people realize.
Always learning.
It isn't just like, oh, you order these cut flowers and then you put them in a vase or wrap them up in paper and it's sending them off. I mean,
even where you put them in the cooler makes a difference. Or if you have strawberries in your cooler, your flowers aren't going to last as long. Like certain chemicals
because
and
of the
different
gas the
things.
strawberries put off,
certain things make a difference. Now, seems like we can always use canned drinks and those last okay in the cooler, but we won't talk about, Deal's kegs or anything like that's ever in the cooler.
That's
so
multi-purpose. It's
that's
just
right.
utilizing the resources
cooler gets used when it needs used. So whether that was Reunion Rendezvous or what it was, we were always there to help the community have a bigger cooler if they need it.
We all appreciate the resources downtown.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So this question has nothing to do with money.
Okay.
But which, hey, being a business owner is
nice. I like it already.
Largely about money. I want to know, tell us what the actual investment is to be a business owner. So what is your investment as a business owner? What is that?
I can interrupt your question and answer it in the middle. It is your time. It's your time and a little bit of yourself. One of the things that I have tended to do as a business owner is I get a little bit defensive of Jefferson when I see people bashing Jefferson that I never see volunteer for anything. Or when I see people saying, why are we doing this? But they can't even tell you the city person, anybody on city council or anybody that they've talked to about the city that they've asked. Great, people disagree and they get involved because they've had a conversation and they still don't agree. Cool, totally get that. So I get a little bit defensive when I invest so much time in other business owners. We're giving up going to things. Now I've gotten better at that. Year 10, I don't miss a lot of things when it's important. But your biggest investment is your time. Little bit of your loudmouth opinion. I mean, we have business owners that are loud and proud and will say anything and everything, and you have to advocate for something or you don't stand for anything. But you don't get to say everything you want to say the way you want to say it. Your guest last week was Deb McGinn. I think she was my middle school secretary at the building that's getting redone. Mm-hmm. She probably didn't get to say everything she wanted to say when she was staff there. As a retired volunteer, she gets to advocate as loud as she wants to for things. And I admire that a little bit. Mm-hmm. Business owners don't always have the luxury of getting to do that. But at the same time, everyone is our customer and the people we care about. So we don't want to not be a place for everybody. So by doing that, you just don't get to say every disagreement or opinion you have. Mm-hmm. So your time getting to do some of those things is just... you're a sacrifice you're making is having some self-restraint. Oh, well, yeah. And if anyone knows me, I'm not really good at that sometimes. So yeah, I would say that's true. And you have to do that without losing yourself or your purpose or what you're passionate about. Sure. So it is a balancing act for sure.
On that note, do you find yourself in trying to, most business owners seem like they run a pretty even keel, pretty neutral on all things. Have you personally ever found yourself just saying, I feel passionately about X, Y, or Z, and it's okay if people know that, and if some people don't like it, that's okay? Or have you just really pushed everything in, would you say?
I mean, for sure. If you're watching this podcast and you are always complaining about Jefferson, know that I'm talking about you. That I can stand on that pretty firmly and know that. Sure. I think some of the things going wrong is that 90% of the people are what you were just describing, pretty even killed, can have conversations. Yeah. I think we've lost that a little bit. I think a lot of people say that that's been lost. But yeah, I think business owners are some of the people that get to talk to the most variety of opinions. So we learn the most and we feel like we're even keel because we've taken the time to talk to everybody about how they feel about different things. Yeah. So yeah, my customer is everybody. So I love helping anybody who needs flowers, plants, or a space for kids to come in and do classes or adults or whatever it is. You can sign up and know that you're going to enjoy it.
When we walk into any given small business, we see happy faces, we see product on the shelf. What don't we see? What do you want people to know about being a business owner? What don't we see about your business or any given small business?
Yeah, any given. And I want to make sure that I'm talking in generalizations. I'm not trying to just talk about fudges, but at the same time, I'm not just speaking for other people
that's
either.
What you know.
Yeah, that's what I know. And what I don't think people see the stress. It's becoming more okay to share what's hard. And you're seeing that. You're seeing people share, hey, we've been struggling. It's been slow walk in traffic. rain and 95 degrees don't always balance with shopping and walking around. When we were lower on food establishments, that was hard. We needed to have more things for people to do to come around Jefferson. So we want to share that those are issues because people can't help us if they don't know what we need. And at the same time, balance that we don't need to share every stress. You don't need to know that I got in dead flowers and had to reorder your wedding flowers because they came in like garbage first. Like there's certain things with that stress that people don't need to see. And I think that's okay. Gosh, what was else? What was your original question? What else people don't see?
Really, is it like, what don't we see? Like, you may be, before you opened any given day, maybe you've been awake 5 hours planning things out.
I haven't been awake 5 hours, but that's nice of you to think that. But I get what you're saying.
Maybe it's a stress point time of year and not realizing how much.
When you first said that, I had thought of something. That's why I wanted you to re-ask that because I couldn't remember what I thought of. You don't see that all of our employees and our staff have lives that are affected too. Like you do not see that somebody is struggling because they come in with a happy face. So you don't see that people are real people. Some of our business owners don't work the front counter per se. You have different staff. I'm lucky enough that by the time the end of the week comes and I'm starting to get worn down, we've got a couple different staff members that kind of come in different days and they just re-energize the rest of us. So getting to have some of that balance too. But I don't think people realize that people have real lives, that if something didn't go right, we do lose sleep over it. And people don't think, they think, oh, you made money off of it. What do you care? It's like, oh no, if you wanted red and I did white, I feel terrible. And I think about that every time I see you at Fairway or Hy-Vee or anywhere. That I remember that for a long time. And this is a good transition to say, when you shop on Temu or however you pronounce it, or Amazon, Target, Walmart, nobody cares if they screwed up your order. Like maybe the person felt bad when they went home that they didn't do their job great, but you don't know that person. You didn't see them care about your order. You didn't see them do that. I think that's a big thing people don't realize is the private, maybe it's a private Facebook message to somebody just to follow up. You just don't get that other places. So just how much people truly care and want to do for you, I think that's really, really missed.
Yeah, we're not even halfway through here, and I think that's probably going to be my favorite nugget. That's it.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean that's it. That's you know these people, and you'll see them at the grocery store. You'll see them at church. You'll see them at your kids' games or whatever. And like, man, just it sticks in your craw a little bit that they didn't have the best experience, or that you could have just given them a little bit more, and oftentimes not even in your control, but still that you have. The investment in the business, it's your name on it per se, and you care about people and want it to be so great. So yeah. I love that.
And I that is all business owners. I don't know one person that comes to our promotions team that does not feel that way. So it's not just me and my, I'm a positive person by nature, but everybody feels that way. Even the ones that have been the OGs that have been here since before when I worked in high school. We still have some business owners that have been around a long time. They feel the same way too.
Love that. All right. So generally speaking, what are some of the, top one or two biggest challenges for retailers these days? The competing with each other is non-existent. I mean, we really work hard to offer different products. We know the size town Jefferson is. So when people think that might be our struggle, it isn't. It is did you see Walmart delivers? Oh, great. Okay. Walmart delivers to Jefferson now. What does that look like for us? Does that put us all out? Does Walmart pay the option sales tax? Do they donate to After Prom? Maybe they would if you knew somebody there to ask, but you don't know anybody there. Maybe a couple employees. Like I get that they offer jobs and all the things. We have to take care of, to help take care of the small business owner. You have to take care of some of the, what did Shine On Designs owner Jen calls them, kind of like the big hitters. If we've got our grocery stores and we've got our hardware store and we've got our pharmacy and our hospital and our schools, those are the things that we need to make sure we're supporting in town because they exist is why we can exist. And not that they sell more, make more, all of that, but you have to have some of those, like we learned, essential needs. We got to meet those before people can come and do the fun stuff, the extras that they need. So it's all a balancing out of
what is the biggest struggle right now too? And this one, like I said at the beginning, I kind of got feedback from other business owners. So some of these words, these business owners might hear and be like, I thought that. You did. I stole your idea, you know? But the overconsumption to the point of we want everything for $1 from Shein. We want everything to cost nothing. And that's not the reality of a higher quality product that's brought in, that's made, maybe not even just in the United States, but it's made with good work practices, labor practices. Like, what is the reality of why those things are so cheap? Do we really think about where that stuff comes from, how it got there? Or there's a documentary about the garbage heaps because we're buying so much stuff. What would it look like if you bought less, but maybe spent a little more and bought it in town? Because those dollars stay in town. I mean, I can tell you most of our dollars stay in Greene County. So what would Jefferson look like if you did that? Like, you specifically listening to this podcast right now, look at your receipt from Amazon. Did you need it? Could you have gotten it in town? We're not a warehouse. I shop on Amazon. I'm not a fool. Like, I understand that there is a place for all of those things.
Sure.
But that phrase, shop local, which maybe we'll talk about, maybe it's look local first, or maybe it's look local harder, or ask the questions. I have people come into the store all the time that haven't been in there for a long time. How do you know what someone has if you don't go or don't ask? So take a hot minute to just go into a store you haven't been to for a while. And we try to have fun promotions to do that. So I'm sure we'll touch on those sometime in this, but trying to make it fun for people to want to come downtown. Right now you can still see some of the rain art. So like when it rains, there's secret rain art on the sidewalks. Some more than others, depending on what the sidewalk is made of, but different things to help bring people in, I think, is a way to tackle that challenge. So
agreed. And I will echo the idea of the local businesses are all on the same team. Everybody here realizes you have visitors in town. It's a win, and you're helping send them to one another's businesses. And it isn't anybody here locally that is competition. It is big box and online. That's the main, and that's not here, obviously, or just here. That's everywhere. When you even see malls struggling, you know, that tells you a lot. So I think that's a good point, just to know this is a team here. This is a local ecosystem of business owners and supporting each other. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a sec. But
that word ecosystem came up on Jen Bagler did a podcast, and she talked about that a little bit. And that is right on the money. The ecosystem, you invest in what you get out of things, and it just keeps going round and round.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell us, let's think of a positive. What's one of the big positives of being a small business owner?
The people, easy. The people I work with, the people we get to see at our promotions team, our customers, they're all, you just learn something new about Jefferson or those people every day. And you get to help people through moments. When somebody is going through a funeral, or they're going through a wedding or a graduation, those are key big hitter moments that we love to be a part of. And whether it is a wedding at the top of the bell tower and Royals helps do the jewelry, or they help engrave something, or you've got somebody picking out a card, or they're getting an antique at one of our many cool antique places. I've got somebody that bought something, they're bringing it to the store to fill flowers for the fair. Like, it all just starts to blend together. So it's pretty fun to see.
That is cool. You have a lot of very emotion-driven components to your business. People coming in on all the best and worst times of their lives. And so I bet that is really impactful to get to be a part of that for you guys.
And even the restaurants now. How many people go celebrate a birthday or go do something in a restaurant? So there's a lot of different places to celebrate, even city parks, booking them out for parties. It's just all of those things that people get to be a part of. It makes a big difference.
Really cool.
And again, you might get that in big towns from certain people. You just don't get it from all huge corporations. We're lucky we have corporations in town that want to support all the different things that are going on. So we're lucky in that way. But yeah, just supporting people when they need supported the most.
We've mentioned shopping local a little bit. Beyond making just the purchase, what does that mean to the community when people support our local businesses and are shopping locally?
I mean, money circulates where it's spent the fastest. So the sales option tax, I think I touched on that a little bit too. But when somebody is shopping in town, they come in, maybe it's somebody comes in to buy something. The next person who comes in might be somebody asking for a donation, or maybe it's somebody who can't afford this, but they could afford this, and we're there to help them navigate the different parts of that. I know that there's been a lot of grants and different things that have been available to business owners, but we all are paying taxes right back into our community. So I'm not complaining. I really don't complain too much about paying taxes. I'm smart about it. That's what I pay an accountant for. But at the same time, I want that investment coming here. People maybe come to buy stuff for different things, for school related things. That's exactly what makes us able to donate it back to schools. So getting to buy stuff for boosters, or getting to just do certain things, helping teachers move into town and then welcoming them, different realtors get involved. It's just all these different pieces to why being local is so important. And like I said, look local first. Maybe shop local isn't the thing. That Small Business Saturday is such a huge thing for some of us too. But maybe we need some different phrases, because you hear the same thing over and over. It starts to lose its luster. But maybe there's something else you can come up with, or maybe put it in the comments here, people. You know, what should we be saying to get people to think about that first? I
agree that the think local first is a very fair ask. At least, you know, have you been into Fudges lately to even know what's there, and people might be surprised that you've grown your retail side of things and shopping experience through a business growth grant through Jefferson Matters. So
we're trying to. I think a lot of business owners are trying to bring in what doesn't exist. So we're not trying to bring in the same products over and over again. But when Printer's Box, when Gene retired, it was like, okay, what are some things people really need from here? So then growing businesses to keep that stuff in town, and people appreciate it so much. And then they don't have to drive. It does save you time and money. I promise you, going to Walmart to save $4 didn't save you any money at all. It's guaranteed.
It's a great point. All right. So I'm curious, in your mind, beyond making purchases, what are other things folks can do to support small businesses?
You can see pretty easy on Facebook that it's starting. Meta, Facebook, same thing, is starting to suppress content. The reach is not getting out there. And that is the first place people go to look for hours, whether you're open, to get an example of your products, different things like that. So sharing those posts. Maybe it's signing up for different promotions if you're able to come. Some of them cost money, some don't. Some are $5, $10 to join. So being a part of something would be a great thing to do. Again, taking a peek at that receipt, seeing if there's something that you really didn't need or something that you could find in town is always a good way to help us out. Promoting us. So maybe you're somewhere and you hear somebody say something saying, oh, I know you can get that XYZ there. So just sharing. I don't ever visit a place that I hear someone just nag on it. So maybe if you don't do anything, that if you can't do anything nice, just don't do anything at all. Like if you don't have anything positive to share, you haven't experienced that, why tear down something that you don't even care if it succeeds or not? Why make that a goal? So just switching everybody's vibe to being supportive in some way or another. Everybody always says, like, share, post, stuff like that. But it is more than that too. It's just when you have visitors, maybe encouraging them to come, give a little extra time for an event to make that plan so you can hit something else up that you wouldn't have made time for. So maybe customers giving of their time just the way we try to give of ours is a nice thought too.
Well, those are really good thoughts. And the value of the like, comment, share is a lot higher than people realize. And like,
big time.
We encourage you to do that on these podcast videos. Engaging in them is a way that it puts it in front of other people's eyes. That is the world today, is content engagement, and getting it in front of eyes is the commerce today. Comment, share,
and then tell your husband or significant other to do the same thing. Yeah.
That engagement makes and it costs you $0 and a tiny bit of your time. So it's kind of the word of mouth component of today's society is online. That's word of mouth is by promoting it, by interacting. So what value to a small community like Jefferson are the small businesses, and why is that important for our community to have small businesses like yours, for example? The small business side of things, where we've got engineers, we've got financial planners, we've got insurance. Those kind of things are also very important. But speaking specifically of retail, what's the value of that to a community like ours?
Well, I will say I don't go visit another town for their insurance offices. And I don't mean that offensively. No, I used to work at one. That's not a hitting point of why you go somewhere.
And that's why I mentioned them, because it's important to acknowledge they occupy some of our spaces and they're needed. And it's a good thing to have here. But it's two different lanes.
Yep. You've got to have more things to do when you visit. You don't go to one place to go to one thing unless it's specific on your to-do list. So when you're just going out meandering, we need to offer a few hours worth of entertainment or time. So the more variety of different things that we can provide to people, the better off it's going to be for everybody involved. So having the variety, I think, makes a big difference too. A couple of the same thing is great in a town our size. So making sure that we're trying to cover different needs for different people. So when you have a group, maybe somebody loves to read and somebody hates to read, but they love to drink coffee. Well, I've got a corner for them to go to here pretty soon. So offering some of that different eclectic, fun things to do. Plus, we always tell people, go to the top of the tower and then make your list from there, shop it out. And they're so good there to us too, to make sure and point out where people should go, because you can see, not just the downtown businesses, but you can see all the area businesses too, and point out where certain things are going on that people shouldn't miss. So just giving people somewhere to visit and something to do while they're here. And honestly, thanks to Jefferson Matters, everybody behind the Experience Jefferson website, it's the best thing to promote right now. You can find different places to rent, places to shop, eat. It's kind of your one-stop shop. And it's a website, so if somebody is still like, I hate Facebook, I'm not getting on it, they can go find it pretty easy too. And it gives you the overall things to do type thing.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah.
Oh, it's great. If you haven't been on it, go get it.
It is. If you're looking to move here, looking to plan a day trip here, whatever it is, we've got all that on there. A lot of work's gone into it. And shout out to Emily at our office. She's done an incredible job on that. But also shout out to the Bell Tower folks. Go back to a previous episode and we'll hear more about that. But they are great ambassadors of the community. And so what I think I'm hearing you say is that fun shopping is essentially an attraction.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We've got a lot of fun tourism attractions here. I think local residents, grew up here. This is my backyard. You don't think about some of these things, and you don't think about Jefferson being a tourism community, but really we do attract a lot of people from out of town to between the tower and our shopping deals, RVP 1875. So many of our fun businesses bring people here. So it's all part of the deal. Yeah.
Yep. Part of the ecosystem.
Let's switch gears a little bit to one of the 4 core teams of what a Main Street community is required to have, which is economic vitality, organization,
events.
Events is actually
its own, isn't it?
It's an add-on. Yeah, since we're combined.
Yep.
So you've got economic vitality, you've got organization, you've got design and promotions.
Yeah.
And so we have our add-ons of Tower View team, which we heard about from Deb last time, and then events, which is because we're merged with the chamber.
Yep.
So you are the chair of one of our core teams on the promotions team. So what is the goal of that team? What is its mission here?
Yeah, so the promotions team gathers together usually about once a month, and we talk about what kind of events we want to have. So even though we're not the events team, we try to either piggyback off events that they're doing and do something when they're doing them, or we are trying to what do I want to say? We want to have promotions for different people to have while also promoting each other. So sometimes it turns into just a really nice counseling session for business owners. And at the same time, it seems like great ideas come from when we share the struggles. For example, in July, we're doing a punch card theme. Well, that stems from July is one of our slowest retail sales months, just because people go on vacations. They might come for a day here or there, but it's not the same local feel that we normally get throughout the year. So getting together, making a plan for how we can encourage people to come into our doors, whether that's to shop, whether that's to eat chocolate on our chocolate walk, whether that is to build a bouquet with our kind of Mother's Day, May Day type weekend that we've done, whether it's some upcoming things we have going on like the punch card sales or the poker walk that goes in August. So we're always trying to come up with new ideas that stay on trend, giving up, shedding some of the old if they're not working to create something new that is fun and kind of goes with what community members might like to see us have and give them something to do.
Excellent summary of all the questions I really had about promotions team.
Hey, I'm efficient if nothing here.
Are there any other promotional events that you didn't mention throughout the year that you really look forward to?
Other than what I mentioned, I would say like the Christmas season in general, Small Business Saturday, I mentioned briefly, it's the Saturday after Thanksgiving every single year, forever and ever. That's the way it's been. And so encouraging people to, if you start doing your Christmas shopping or your gift giving season, starting that early and local, we try to encourage people to do that with us through that whole season. So November through December is just kind of a fun overall time where the stores are really decorated, usually photo ops for different things if you want to snap a photo or do something like that too. But just to get people in the doors and looking at what we have. And we've got the cutest stuff. I don't know why you'd want to go anywhere else. So.
Agreed. All right. As we wrap up, some quick hitters for you.
Okay.
What is one thing you think visitors should do when they come to Jefferson? That's tough.
Ooh, one thing.
Not the only thing, but what's one thing for sure?
Bell tower.
Got it.
Yeah. I'm going to explain. They are just the greatest ambassadors for all the different businesses. So that staff is so well trained to greet people and to send them on other ways that if when in doubt, send them there because they'll send them somewhere else.
Yep. That's a great answer. I agree with that. Being a business owner, what is one piece of advice you would give someone who's looking to start a business?
Be ready to make every decision forever.
Wow, that's a good one. That's
that
good.
one I got some help on too. That plays into a question earlier that I was like, ooh, I'm going to use that now. Yeah, be ready.
This is kind of a fun question, and shout out to Emily for coming up with some of these prompts.
Oh, now I'm nervous.
If you could switch jobs with one other Jefferson business owner for a day, who would it be, or what business would it be?
I think it would be Becky at the meat counter at Fairway. That's so interesting to me.
You're going to have to elaborate on that a little bit now.
I don't know why. I think they're a fun group of people. Becky is a wonderful ambassador too of like what is a good spirited person and somebody that's always so friendly to all of her people. And I want to know what they do. It has nothing to do with anything I do. Nobody lets me play with knives like that at work. I don't know what the answer is behind that, but
the value of customer service, I think, is a lot of what you're talking about. And
yes.
She does exemplify that. And honestly, yes. That is one of the things the small business owners, I think, really pride themselves on is that customer service, which you talked about earlier. And
yeah.
I mean, it feels like it's harder and harder to find sometimes, good customer service. So.
Yeah, I could say RVP, but I don't think he has air conditioning, so I'm not going to choose that one. Yeah. There's a lot of cool ones. I'm curious. Yeah. But also, because when we do our promotions meeting, we meet in everybody's spaces, so we get to a little bit see behind the scenes of their businesses. Maybe the mystery isn't there for all the people that I know so well to want to go back into theirs because I already know it. But yeah, Fairway hasn't let us come out there yet. So that'd be a fun one.
Maybe you're just not I think maybe sticking with what snips and pruners is about as sharp as utensils as you get.
We've had some injuries. I'm not going to lie. We've had some ER visits and some things we can't discuss online, but yeah. Yep.
All right. Last question.
Okay.
If you weren't in the flower business, what do you think you'd be doing?
Ooh.
Or what would you love to be doing?
Something with marketing that involves kids and animals and air conditioning. I guess I said that. I don't want to be outside. So if I can bring animals indoors to kids while marketing it for the good of Jefferson, that would be my dream job. So maybe that's an animal shelter director job we need to invest for the city. Maybe I know a guy I could ask about that.
I love that. We'll make some mental notes about that.
There you go. Put a plug in.
Bonnie, I really appreciated this perspective.
Hey,
and
thank you.
I didn't think it'd be a challenge for you to share yourself and vocalize some of those things. So thank you for sitting in and being a part of that. And we look forward to all the successes of Fudge's Flowers and Gifts downtown Jefferson.
And all the other wonderful businesses.
Yes, and all the things. Thanks for being a leader of the promotions team and helping support all of the businesses here and supporting that local entrepreneurial ecosystem and bringing the positivity to it. So.
Whatever we can invest into it's what we'll get out of it. So let's do it.
Absolutely. Well, and thank you all for tuning in to this latest episode of Behind What Matters with Bonnie Silbaugh, that is. And stay tuned to the next time. So make sure you, again, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube and comment on this, share it with friends and family, and we'll see you next time.